Merhaba arkadaşlar. Bu haftaki dersimizde tema olarak loneliness'ı işleyeceğiz. Güzel bir eser gene. Susan Hill'in How Soon Can I Live diye bir kısa öyküsü var. Daha öncelerde dediğim gibi sizlere bazen derslerimin sonunda sizlere kısa ödevler veriyorum. Yani not olarak vermek anlamında değil ama hiç olmazsa sizleri biraz hazırlıklı kılmak istediğim için bunlara bazı arkadaşlarımız riayet ediyorlar, bakıyorlar. Çoğu arkadaşımız bakmıyor. Doğal olarak sorumlulukları artık kendilerine bırakıyorum ben de. Evet, Susan Hill hakkında kısa bir açıklama verelim kitabımızdan. Susan Hill, born in 1942, is a contemporary English writer whose novels and short stories have in recent years gained a wide readership. She won the Somerset Maugham Award in 1971 for I Am the King of the Castle, the John Llewellyn Rhys Prize for The Albatross and Other Stories, and the Whitbread Award for The Bird of Night. Susan Hill's stories are often about children and old people. Doğal olarak konu olarak bize şimdi dikkat ederseniz çocuklarla yaşlı kimseler üzerinde daha çok kısa öykülerini yazmış. Whose experiences frequently of a dark kind she explores with great insight and sensitivity. Burada bizim için önemli. Daha çok edindiği tecrübeler dark kind diyebileceğimiz tarzda. Yani insanlar içinde biraz böyle müpem diyebileceğimiz, şüphe uyandıran diyebileceğimiz veya sıkıntı yaratabileceğimiz tarzda diyebileceğimiz hususları açıklıyor. Ve bunu da daha çok iç gözlemlemeler anlamında great insight dediğimiz ve biraz da sensitivity diyebileceğimiz hassasiyet üzerinde kullanmış. How Soon Can I Live is taken from a collection of stories entitled A Bit of Singing and Dancing diye böyle bir konu başlığı altında eser kendine yer bulmuş. Öyküye gelecek olursak iki tane karakter var. Miss Roscommon and Miss Bartlett are two middle-aged ladies who live together in the small English seaside town of Mountseat. They seem to be a suitable couple. Miss Bartlett is the artistic one and Miss Roscommon is the practical one. İki tane karakter dikkat ederseniz birbirinden son derece tezatlık gösteren, zıtlık gösteren karakterler olarak karşımıza çıkıyor. But as the years go by, Miss Bartlett begins to want to break free. So Miss Bartlett wants to be completely free. We will see. Evet, esere başlayalım şimdi. How soon can I live? The two ladies who lived together were called Miss Bartley and Miss Roscommon. Miss Roscommon, the older and stouter of the two, concealed her fear of life behind frank reference to babies and lavatories and the sexing of day-old chicks. Burada da gördüğünüz gibi yaşlı olan Bayan Roscommon daha ziyade yaşamdan edindiği korkuları içine atan, içinde saklayan veya dışa vurumcu olmayan, bunlara İngilizce'de biliyorsunuz introverted, extroverted diyoruz. Introverted dediğimizde içine saklayan, içine atan. Extroverted dediğimiz daha ziyade her türlü düşüncesini dışarıya vuran anlamında kullanılıyor. Çok kullanılan bir ifade. It was well known that she had traveled widely as a girl. She told of her walking tours in Greece and how she had driven an ambulance during the Spanish Civil War. Öbür taraftan Bayan Bartlett'e geldiğimizde dikkat ederseniz bunlar hep Miss olarak geçtiği için they are unmarried, spinster anlamında kullanalım. Miss Bartlett, who was only 40, cultivated, educated, shyness and self-effacement, out of which arose her way of living, muttered sentences to trail off into the air, unfinished. Biraz tam tersi gözüküyor karşımızda Miss Barclay. Extroverted gibi bir karakter olarak daha çok karşımıza çıkıyor Bayan Roscomm'una göre. Oh, do not take any notice of anything I may say, she meant. It is of no consequence. I am sorry to have spoken, but the sentences drew attention to her nevertheless. What was that? People said. I beg your pardon. I didn't quite catch. Bu da çok önemli bir ifade. I couldn't catch what you said anlamında. Toplumda çokça kullanılan ifade. Do speak up. And so she was forced to repeat herself, and they, having brought it upon themselves, were forced to listen. She also protested helplessness in the face of everyday tools. Bu da bizim için önemli. She also protested, was against helplessness in the face of everyday tools. It was Miss Roscommon who peeled all the potatoes and defrosted the refrigerator and opened the tins. Burada da dikkat ederseniz gene günlük ev işleri, houseworks diyebileceğimiz günlük ev işlerini yapan Bayan Roscommon var. Kendisi bu tür şeylere pek rağbet etmiyor Bayan Barclay. Their house, one of the two white bungalows overlooking the bay, was called Tuscany. When Miss Bartlett had finally come to live with Miss Roscommon 7 years before, each one believed that the step was taken for the good of the other. So in this sentence we can see a good relationship started with them. Miss Bartley had been living in one of the little stone cottages opposite the harbor, working through the winter on the stock that she sold from her front room and on a trestle outside in summer. Burada da bir yıl içinde yaptığı işler. From November until March, there were no visitors to Mountsea. Buradan da anlıyoruz ki Mountsea daha ziyade böyle işte bir turistik bir bölge olarak karşımıza çıkıyor. Winds and rare rains scored the surface of the cliffs and only the lifeboat put out to sea. Miss Roscommon had taken to inviting Miss Bartley up to the bungalow for meals. Bir hospitable anlamında bir karakter olarak da karşımıza çıkıyor kendisi Miss Roscommon. You should have a shop, she had begun by saying, loading Miss Bartley's plate with scones and homemade ginger jam, properly equipped and converted. Maharetli bir kadın olarak da karşımıza çıkıyor bakın. It cannot be satisfactory having to display goods in your living room. Why have you not thought of taking a shop? Miss Bartley made marquetry pictures of the church, the lighthouse and the harbor, table lamps out of lobster pots and rocks, worked over with shells. Kendisi de Bayan Bartley'de işte gördüğünüz gibi, okuduğunuz gibi maharetli bir kadın. She also imported Italian straw baskets and did a little pewter work. The idea of a shop had come to her and been at once dismissed in the first weeks after her coming to Mountsea. She was too timid to take any so definite a step, for by establishing herself in a shop, with her name written up on a board outside, was she not establishing herself in the minds of others as a shopkeeper? As a girl, she had been impressed by her mother's constant references to her as dreamy and artistic, so that she could not possibly now see herself in the role of shopkeeper. She could not possibly now see herself in the role of shopkeeper. Also, by having her name written up on that board, she felt that she will somehow be committing herself to Mountsea. Yani bağlı kalacağını düşünüyor. And by doing that, finally, abounding all her hopes of future in some other place. Yani Türkçemiz hani çakılıp kalmak diye bir ifade var biliyorsunuz. Eğer de buraya bir dükkan açacak olursak işte bu tür yaptığı işleri ufak tefek el mahareti işleri ortaya koyarsa buraya bağlı kalacağını, çakılıp kalacağını düşüncesi de başka yerlere gidemeyeceği düşüncesi içerisine giriyor bu sefer de. As a girl, she had looked out at the world and seen a signpost with arms pointing in numerous different directions. Roads leading here or there. She had been quite unable to choose which road to take for, having once set out upon any of them. She would thereby be denying herself all the others. And what might I lose, she had thought. What opportunities shall I miss if I make the wrong choice? So that in the end she had never chosen and drifted through her life from this to that, waking every morning to the expectation of some momentous good fortune dropped in her lap. That cottage is damp, said Miss Roscommon, allowing her persuasions to take on a more personal note as they got to know one another better. Dikkat ederseniz Bayan Roscommon daha ziyade böyle fikir verici, işte tavsiyelerde bulunan, arkadaşına yapması gerektiği şeyleri söyleyen bir kadın rolü oynuyor. As they got to know one another better. I do not think you look after yourself properly, and a place of business should not have to double as a home. At first, Miss Bartley shrank from the hints and persuasions. Dikkate almıyor Bayan Roscommon'un ifadelerini. Knowing herself to be easily swayed, fearful of being swept along on the tide of Miss Roscommon's decision. I am 40 years old, she said. There is plenty of opportunity left for me. I do not have to abandon hope by retreating into middle age. Gene güzel bir ifade bakınız. There is plenty of opportunity left for me. I do not have to abandon hope by retreating into middle age. Yani orta yaşın vermiş olduğu hal ve duruma kendimi geri çekip de hayattan kopmak durumunda değilim diyor. Zorunda değilim. And life with another woman veya bir kadına da bağlı kalarak. Though certainly she enjoyed the meals the other cooked, Miss Roscommon cooked, the taste of home-baked pastries and stews and herb-flavored vegetables. I am afraid that I cannot cook, she said. I live on milk and cheese and oven-baked potatoes. I would not know where to begin in the kitchen. It didn't occur to her that this was any cause for shame, and Miss Roscommon tut-tutted and floored the pastry board, relieved to have once again a sense of purpose brought into her life. There were 9 of us in the family, she said, and I was the only girl. At the age of 7, I knew how to bake a perfect loaf of bread. I am quite content to be one of the martyrs of this world.